Hello there. My name is Professor Frett, and I am representing the Lonely Bear Cub himself, in a more philosophical sense. Today I'm here to talk to you about some things that have made me very concerned about the world we live in today. As you know, the news and internet are absolutely saturated with topics such as race, gender, politics, and differences in opinions on social constructs. While some of these things we have seen can be infuriating, offensive, and downright silly, there are some things that we need to understand before approaching these topics. One key factor that we must understand is that there is a very bold line between what is fact and what is opinion. Unfortunately, many of us have forgotten this, and it is exactly why tempers flare as they do today. One common problem I have seen, especially in the community who follows much of the Native American history and philosophy resources that are posted on this channel, is the assumption that the white man is a monster who knows only how to kill and destroy. We must come together to understand that those living today should not face guilt, disassociation or prejudice for crimes committed centuries before our coming into the world. While I am fully aware that there are individuals who do not act on the common interests of their fellow human beings, I feel that we cannot truly move forward in society without learning forgiveness. That being said, I feel that blaming any race for the suffering of another will simply not help either side of an argument. If human beings truly wish to move forward and to overcome violence and prejudice, we have to learn from each other. There is no reason that we should forget the past. In fact, I feel strongly that the history of America and any other country should be taken very seriously. By doing so, we have created not only a link to our ancestry and culture, but also a tangible guide that will prevent us from making such horrible mistakes in the future. It is widely discussed that virtually all races, with few if any exceptions, have indeed committed atrocities to another at some point in history, be it recent or thousands of years ago. This has been proven fact. Be it tribal warfare, world wars, civil wars, or genocide and enslavement. Would it be fair, then, to point the finger at those born less than 100 years ago for the crime that their great-great-great-great-great-grandfather committed? Of course not. How can the murderer be convicted when the suspect never picked up the gun? We must consider the fact that, while history proves not to be in the favor of many groups of humans, we cannot place that same blame on our fellow humans today for the crimes that their ancestors committed before they were born. This goes for all humans. So, Professor Frett, what can we do to move forward in our lives and learn to live together without conflict or animosity? Dear watchers, it is quite simple. It is perfectly okay, and even encouraged by me and many others, that we all hold on to our traditions, be it tribal traditions, family traditions, or cultural. We can hold on to the past for the greatness as humans that we have achieved, for the stories that each culture holds precious and has been passed down for thousands of years. However, I truly believe that in order to overcome prejudice and animosity between races and cultures, the best way to do so is immersion. Instead of hating another race, why not attempt to learn about their core values, their beliefs, and try to see the world through their eyes? Perhaps if you walked a mile in their shoes, your feet would not feel as comfortable as they do now. Another very important concept to understand is that you will have opponents and allies of all races. We cannot blame the actions of the few on the majority, and we must understand that those whom we place blame and guilt upon have members of that same race or group who will stand with you, hand in hand, and fight for your rights and freedoms. Our world will never be perfect or without negative feelings among people and groups, but we must stop looking at the actions of others and instead look at ourselves. What are we proving by simply flinging mud at those who do the same to us? We cannot force others to feel or think in a certain way. This is in fact a good thing. This means people are free to their opinions and beliefs, even if we personally do not agree with them. If we disagree with someone, violence or political or personal attacks will certainly not sway the person's mind. In fact, it could cause them to hold on to their prejudices and assumptions much stronger. We can control ourselves only and we are ourselves and our children, our most precious resource. We can choose to play like children in the sandbox, flinging soil at one another, or we can face our issues head-on and use structured science and reasoning to overcome those who still live in the Stone Age and who want us to revert to their primitive ways as well. In conclusion, my advice to you is as follows. Remember the culture and traditions of your people and important points in your history. But do not bear down on that history, and instead of digging your own emotional grave with the tools you have, instead, use your history to build a foundation of a mighty temple. We can use these facts and our values to build a more respectable society and to move forward in our lives, and for the betterment of not only our own ethnic or tribal groups, but also for the betterment of mankind. All human beings deserve the right to live their lives the way they choose. If they choose to be filled with hate and prejudice, do not look at them with disgust, but instead with pity and sadness. They are truly in pain. Thank you so much for listening to my short lecture. I hope this video has given you much to think about.